Hey everyone, welcome to an all new episode of All About Sports, the podcast. I am your host Mazhar Gadiwala, and today we will be discussing basketball. It's NBA time, the preseason is on, and we're all set to tip off. And it's going to be an interesting season. But before we dive into this week's topic, I just wanted to mention that last week we discussed the entire problems of sport revolving around match fixing and cheating. So do check that out. The description is given. Now, let's get into this week's episode. So, basketball is something that has always been close to my heart. And honestly, there's been so many changes happening every season that I can't help but as a fan not know who to really support after a point because loyalty has gone out of the window. But anyway, I am a Lakers fan, so I must say that the Lakers are going for a champion or bust sort of scenario once again. LeBron James is tied hands with Russell Westbrook this time. He's, of course, had Anthony Davis already, and they've got many more pieces to the puzzle from a long term perspective. Going into this new season, we also have obviously the Brooklyn Nets. There's high expectations from them, given that they have Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving. We're talking about three superstars, not just all stars, in one team. So the odds are all in the favor of the Nets and the Lakers. So that's one team from the West, one team from the East. And it's going to be interesting to see if things actually turn out that way. Everyone thought that the Lakers will run away with it last season. Wasn't to be the case. We saw Giannis Antetokounmpo leading the Milwaukee Bucks to the title, which was a welcome change and something that all neutrals would have really enjoyed thoroughly, given that it was a team built from the ground up. Giannis proved his loyalty, became a superstar in Milwaukee, and well, the rest is history. What is interesting going into this new season is that there are many changes, but there's also one man who's coming back. One man who people just seem to be forgetting about, and that's Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson will be reuniting with his splash brother, Stephen Curry, for the Golden State Warriors. And mind you, Steph Curry had a brilliant season last time out. Sadly, he just didn't seem to have all the support. They were in that talk for the playoffs, and well, it just petered out. Let's not forget they also lost their rookie center, James Wiseman, who honestly I think is a fantastic player and we will hopefully see the best of him going forward. Now, let's just break down how the NBA is looking right now. Of course, the NBA has become very box office. Los Angeles is not only the Lakers now, there are the Clippers. Yes, they have failed again to produce the goods, but they still have Kawhi Leonard and Paul George in Los Angeles. So you've always said that the West is the stronger conference. We've always seen the best teams in the West. So the East is relatively easier. But well, we have Eastern Conference champions from last season winning the title after all. So I wouldn't want to go so far yet. Let's not forget Brooklyn has that all-star studded lineup. They have 1 year of togetherness going with them. Yes, Steve Nash is an inexperienced coach, but you don't really need a super coach for a super team. Now, let's just look at some of the things that, according to me, are some things to look forward to going into this new NBA season. And some things that really stand out for me are, well, simply the depth of the Lakers. You look at them, everyone calls them like an old age home and so on and so forth. But they've got two of the best passers in the game if you just go by stats. They've got the triple double machine in Russell Westbrook. They've got another triple double machine in LeBron James. They've got Anthony Davis, who on his day is absolutely unstoppable. They've added some crucial pieces by bringing back Dwight Howard at the center position. They've also signed DeAndre Jordan from Brooklyn, funny enough. They've got Wayne Ellington, who I think is a very, very good piece to add. They've also added a nice veteran in Carmelo Anthony. Yes, Melo may not be the same as he used to be, but he's definitely handy coming off the bench. They've also added Kent Bazemore, so a lot of shooting coming in there. And it just looks very, very well-rounded. And no matter what you may say about the Lakers' age, they seem like a strong team. There is one very crucial case, though, and no one seems to be talking about it, and that's Ben Simmons. Is he going to stay in Philadelphia? Is he going to leave? There are many people claiming that Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons are done for, but I wouldn't necessarily say that. I think Ben Simmons is a fantastic player. He just lacks some confidence, and I think he needs to find another team and move on to some other pastures just to rediscover himself in a lot of ways. We've all seen his lack of confidence in taking that 3-point shot, and I think that's hampered his overall game as well because of how much he's been critiqued for not having an outside shot. But let's just go through the odds once. So the Lakers and the Nets, like I already said, are tied to favorites for the trophy. They both are 3-1. Then we've got the defending champions, the Milwaukee Bucks, as 9-1. So just look at the disparity in the odds between the first favorites and the second favorites. Surprisingly, we've got the Golden State Warriors in fourth at 10-1. Just tells you how much Klay Thompson can add to that team. Not only is he arguably the second best shooter in the league, he's also a fantastic on-the-ball defender. The Phoenix Suns are 14-1, and I'm not surprised by that, though. We've got Chris Paul and Devin Booker, who had a fantastic season last time out. Sadly, they fell short in the end, but it was just a phenomenal showing to make it to the NBA Finals. Then we've got the Clippers coming in at 16-1. Tied with the 76ers. Now, I'm not sure what to make of the 76ers. They've always been, there's just so much talk around Joel Embiid, but I just don't see the cohesiveness in that team. And I don't know what it is, but there's just something lacking, and they need to definitely do something better to improve. As for the Clippers, I mean, they're just jinxed, isn't it? It's always been the case. They've always tried to sign these big players, tried to make these big moves. They've got LA working for them, but it just doesn't work. It just seems like they'll always be in the shadows of the Lakers. And it's going to be interesting again this season in Hollywood. We always say that, but somehow the Lakers always end up outshining the Clips. Now, Denver Nuggets, I was really disappointed with how Denver did last season. Maybe it was because also there was this over-reliance on Jokic, given that Jamal Murray was out. But it remains to be seen how things proceed with that. I am interested in seeing how Miami does, though. Kyle Lowry is, according to me, the perfect piece to the puzzle that they were missing. Goran Dragic was good, but Kyle Lowry is a million miles ahead when it comes to playing that point guard position. And what helps them is Jimmy Butler is just seemingly getting better and better with more experience that he gains. They've also managed to keep their crucial pieces together. And that's very important as well. Keeping Tyler Hero and Robinson, who are like, I would call the mini Splash Brothers in a way. I think that was also very important. But Dallas Mavericks are another curious case for me. Kristaps Porzingis, I don't know what's going on there. I highly rate Porzingis, but given the injuries and given that even though he came back and didn't seem to produce the goods, I really don't know what to expect now from KP. He's a fantastic shooter, of course. He's a great shot blocker. He's got the skill sets, but it just doesn't seem to be working. I think Dallas did a poor job in helping out in trying to shift pieces around and give Luka Doncic a better chance. Because let's face it, Doncic is probably, if not a top 3 player right now in the league, he's definitely a top 5, according to me. He just has everything, man. We saw it in the Olympics as well. The guy can carry a team effortlessly. He's just so good to watch. He's constantly improving, even on the defensive end, which is one thing that he seemed to have been lacking. His outside shot is not great, but well, he comes up clutch at crucial times as well. So I think that's something that we have to look forward to. But again, another thing that I'm extremely disappointed about, even though I'm a Lakers fan, I've got to say this from a neutral perspective, and for all of you who are listening or watching, Boston Celtics. I just don't see how they can contend. They had a poor showing in the playoffs, didn't really challenge. Well, to be fair, Giannis was just too good. But Jason Tatum, Jalen Brown, you look at these players, they should be doing better. Not saying that Tatum didn't do well, he was fantastic, but I think Brown and Tatum just needed better support and they didn't get it. Marcus Smart, I thought, underperformed. Al Horford's seemingly just way past it now. Cantor, I don't know what he's still doing there, to be honest, but Dennis Schroeder's an interesting piece to the puzzle. So let's see how Boston goes. No one's talking about them anymore, but I'm not surprised. They just seem to be lacking. Let's move on to one more team that I wanted to cover, and that's the Washington Wizards. Of course, with Westbrook going to the Lakers, forming this big three again alongside Anthony Davis and LeBron, Washington have picked up Kyle Kuzma. Now, I know a lot of people have said a lot about Kyle Kuzma, but again, he's one of those guys who I really like. And I think it's good for him and the Lakers that he's moved on, because I think we'll see a different Kyle Kuzma. We'll see that confident, fearless Kyle Kuzma that we've seen a bit at like certain times with the Lakers as well. When he's been the guy, he's really produced. He's definitely a great scorer. He can definitely put points up in a hurry. And having someone like Bradley Beal alongside and Spencer Dinwiddie maybe playing point guard as well just seems to add to the team. They've got some great depth. I am shocked at what the odds are for them. They stand at like 125-1 to win the league. And I'm not saying they are going to be NBA champions, but they can definitely make the playoffs and make a deep run as well. When you look at the balance of the team, I quite like it. Like I mentioned, Bradley Beal, Kyle Kuzma, Spencer Dinwiddie. They've got Rui Hachimura, who is high on confidence after a very, very good showing at the Olympics in Tokyo at home. They've also got Denny Avdija, had his rookie season last time out. He's a fantastic shooter. I think we still have a lot to see from him, and I think his best will come at some point. They also picked up KCP in that Westbrook trade, and that's fantastic news for them. He's a lockdown defender. Yes, he's a streaky shooter, but I think they have enough shooting with Beal. So great addition again to the team. He can be a great starter if they have to start him. Maybe alongside Bradley Beal as well, potentially. They've got Montrezl Harrell. Again, I don't understand why the Lakers would give up someone like Trez, but I've always questioned the Lakers front office, not only ever since LeBron came, way before that in the last few years of the late Kobe Bryant as well. I quite like Thomas Bryant at center. Davis Bertans also adds a bit of the bench. And yeah, I just think that people aren't talking about the Wizards in any sort of way, and that might benefit them as well. There's no pressure now with Westbrook gone. Bradley Beal has an even freer role, not like he's ever crumbled under pressure, if that's the best way to put it. I am going to go on and make another claim saying that the Brooklyn Nets will not win the championship this time. They may be stacked, but egos always play a role. And Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden all have massive, massive egos. They may be good friends, but things on the court never play out like that. I think that's the one strong thing that the Lakers have. AD and LeBron know how to play together. They respect each other. They also know what they both are good at, and they just play along those lines. Westbrook adds an interesting sort of element to it. But again, He's a triple-double merchant, so you know he's going to be there for the team. My players to watch out for this season will be, of course, the reigning MVP, Giannis. Then you can't ever count LeBron James out of it, but I am going to go with AD as well. AD wasn't fit. He got injured. He's looking much bigger now. He's looking much better. He exuded confidence during his pressers as well. I'm just gutted that Damian Lillard is still at Portland. It's just really sad to see because that guy deserves a championship, and sadly he's not going to win it in Portland. So let's see how things transpire going forward. But personally, if you ask me, got to go with Lakers, the favorites, but do not rule out the Milwaukee Bucks either. My dark horses, well, I thought it would be the Warriors, but looking at the odds, they don't seem to be dark horses. So I would definitely go with Washington Wizards. So drop your comments and thoughts on what you think about this upcoming season. Which team do you think is going to be the team to watch out for? Do you think the Lakers will win the title once again? Who do you think is going to win the MVP award? Just let us know everything, and then we can have a discussion offline for that as well. Till then, take care, stay safe, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.